Hi everyone, I am Brandon and welcome back to News4Teens. Today, I'll be featuring this January 9th article from The Economist, which attempts to calculate the cost of COVID-19 on the world economy. There are various indicators an analyst can look at when measuring the health of an economy, one of which is using each country's gross domestic product, or GDP. Before going into the details of this article, let me share a few basic points related to GDP. GDP is the monetary value of all goods and services made within a country during a specific period of time, typically on an annual basis. In simple terms, a country's GDP calculation encompasses household spending, government spending, investments, and net exports, which is exports to other countries minus imports from other countries. GDP provides an economic snapshot of a country and is used to estimate the size of an economy and growth rate. The GDP of a country tends to increase when the total value of goods and services that domestic producers sell to foreign countries exceeds the total value of foreign goods and services that domestic consumers buy. With that background knowledge, let's get back to the article. According to the semi-annual Global Economic Prospects Report released this month by the World Bank, the world economy's GDP declined by 4.3% in 2020 when compared to 2019. To give you an idea, 4.3% corresponds to approximately $4 trillion. But this figure actually understates the cost of COVID since it only measures the drop from where we were pre-pandemic, not from where we would have been had the virus not spread. In order to calculate the bigger and more accurate impact caused by COVID, the article describes using projections made by the World Bank before the world knew about COVID. Last January, the World Bank originally estimated that the global GDP would expand by 2.5% in 2020 to $86 trillion from 2019 numbers. Instead of expanding, we actually contracted and dropped by 4.3%. The actual shortfall of global GDP in 2020 was more like 6.6%, which equates to about $5.6 trillion. And looking ahead at this year, global GDP for 2021 is also projected to miss pre-COVID estimates, this time by about 5.3%, a further shortfall of almost $4.7 trillion. For the 2 years combined, that's a total shortfall of $10.3 trillion. $10.3 trillion is a massive number. The top two economies, America and China, are the only ones with an annual GDP greater than $10 trillion. With $10.3 trillion, based on today's stock market, you can buy the 7 most expensive companies in the world, including Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Alphabet. Here's a graph that shows how the shortfall may be split across regions. More than $2 trillion of the shortfall is attributed to Europe. America, India, and China are expected to have the shortfall of $1.7 trillion, $950 billion, and $680 billion respectively. These numbers may seem colossal, but they don't even account for economic damage in future years past 2021. The World Bank predicts that even in 2022, the global GDP will land at 4.4% below pre-pandemic predictions. Since the pandemic is so damaging to our health and society, it makes sense for countries to spend their resources fighting it. But if the virus had never spread, the economy and daily lives of billions of people would have been dramatically different. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something new and are looking forward to my next video.